Hi, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. In this short video, I'm going to repair this nice little wooden cutting board. Don't put wood in the dishwasher, people. So pretty nice, simple little cutting board. It's got a beautiful rounded edge on it, sort of nice shape, but unfortunately it's broken. Not only is it broken, and I don't know how well this is going to show on the camera, but when you bring the two pieces together, they don't quite come together. There's a gap. And if you look at those surfaces, they're both pretty rough. So it would be nice if you could just take it, slap some glue on it, clamp it together, and be done. We're going to do this right. So in order to do that, we need to get these surfaces flat, perfectly smooth, so that they come together to get a really nice glue joint. We'll talk about how we do that in a second, but another important thing to think about is what kind of glue. So I'm going to be using Type-On 3. Type-On 3 is a waterproof glue. Even though this will hopefully never go back in the dishwasher again, it will have to be washed in between uses, just with sort of a damp rag, some soap and water. Not soaked, but just cleaned and then put away to dry. So waterproof glue is pretty important. You don't want that to do all this work and get that fixed and have that come apart. There's a couple of ways you can go about fixing this surface. So I know everybody has different tools available. The simplest would be to just take a big piece of sandpaper, glue or otherwise, attach that down onto a perfectly flat reference surface, and then if you rub this back and forth on there, not only will it get flat and smooth, but it will sort of take the belly of the curve out and you'll have a nice flat reference surface. Another option, I have a jointer. You could take it and run it across the joiner. That would work perfectly well, but I don't want to take off very much material. So I'm afraid you're going to end up sort of losing that nice looking joint there. So what I've decided to do is I'm just going to use a hand plane. Here we are, nice and firm in the leg vise. Got a tiny bit of tear out, so I'm going to switch that around. Seems like the grain is changing direction on me. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So I have a couple of cabinet maker's clamps here, and this setup is important. So if you look at that little rounded edge on there, when you squeeze the clamps in, it's really just going to be touching on the bottom, and that's going to want to rotate this piece up this way and this piece up this way, which is going to leave a gap and an opening. It'll be closed at the bottom, which is actually the top. I don't want that. I want the whole thing dead flat flush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use moderate pressure on the clamps, and I'm going to come in from the side and clamp these edges together here. So let's get some glue on both sides of this joint. I'd rather err on the side of having too much glue and get some good squeeze out than to have a glue-starved joint and have it end up being weak. So I'm going to lather it on pretty thick. Rub back and forth together. So watch that squeeze out. That's what I want to see. So I ended up adding some more clamps to clamp it to the bar of this clamp, so bring it down flat. So as I described, that concern of this forcing it open and opening the joint, that actually happened. So it's now been about 40 minutes. So I'm going to take it out of the clamps and I'm going to scrape the glue. So it's not completely done curing yet, but it is cured enough that that glue is sort of set up and gelled a little bit, so it's become tacky. And it makes it real easy to scrape this glue off at this point. If you wait longer, it starts getting harder. And if you do it too soon, it's really runny and it's a challenge. So with a putty knife at a low angle, So for finish, I'm going to use this mix of mineral oil and beeswax. So it's about a 50-50 mix. I use this on cutting boards generally, so I'll usually finish them with mineral oil, and then this will be the last coat after that's fully soaked in. So I just got on the hot plate. I'm going to heat this up until it just becomes liquid, melted down, put a coating on there, wait until that sort of solidifies, and then buff it out, and this guy will be ready to go. Alright, so this has had a chance to sort of dry and set up. I'm just going to give it a quick little buff to take off the excess wax and oil. And there we go. As good as new, ready to go. You can, the repair is basically invisible on this side. You can see just sort of a tiny hairline on this side, but certainly this should be functional and hopefully last for years to come. Just a little maintenance every once in a while. The cutting boards, just put on some mineral oil and should be good. So I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you're interested, please feel free to subscribe down below, like, comment, and share with your friends. Thanks a lot.